if you awaken from this illusion, and you understand that black implies white, self implies other, life implies death, or, shall I say, death implies life, you can feel yourself not as a stranger in the world, not as something here on probation, not as something that has arrived here by fluke, but you can begin to feel your own existence as absolutely fundamental. I'm not trying to sell you on this idea in the sense of converting you to it. I want you to play with it. I want you to think of its possibilities. I'm not trying to prove it, I'm just putting it forward as a possibility of life to think about. So then, let's suppose that you were able every night to dream any dream you wanted to dream, and that you could, for example, have the power within one night to dream 75 years of time, or any length of time you wanted to have. And you would naturally, as you began on this adventure of dreams, you would fulfill all your wishes. You would have every kind of pleasure. And after several nights of 75 years of total pleasure each, you would say, well, that was pretty great. But now let's have a surprise. Let's have a dream which isn't under control, where something is going to happen to me, but I don't know what it's going to be. And you would dig that, and come out of that, you'd say, wow, that was a close shave, wasn't it? Then you would get more and more adventurous, and you would make further and further gambles to what you would dream. Finally, you would dream where you are now. You would dream the dream of living the life that you are actually living today. That would be within the infinite multiplicity of choices that you would have, of playing that you weren't God. Because the whole nature of the God in you, according to this idea, is to play that he's not. So in this idea then, everybody is fundamentally the ultimate reality, not God in a politically kingly sense, but God in the sense of being the self. The deep down basics, whatever there is. And you're all that, only you're pretending you're not. So then, let's suppose you really are God, but the whole point of God is to play that he is not. To hide, because if you knew everything, were utterly transparent to yourself, you'd get bored stiff. You'd want to forget. You'd want to lose yourself in a marvelous adventure, something risky, something unknown. You'd want to gamble. So you pretend to be who you are now. But you are so good at playing the game, you pretend you're not. You act out limitation, fear, anxiety, and surprise for the sheer thrill of waking up again. The Hindus put it beautifully. Atman is Brahman. Your very self is the Supreme Self. The universe is God's game of hide and seek, or Leela, a vast and playful drama, in which the self forgets and rediscovers itself through every being, every experience. And so you dream the dream of being just you, separate and alone, struggling and striving. Yet behind the scenes, you are the whole thing, delighting in the grand illusion, the infinite one expressing itself through the many. The actor so convincing, he takes his own performance as real. That is the God game, to be lost and then to remember, to be the universe, yet play at being a little person for a while, and to know at the last that it was all your own divine theater from the very beginning. And so the Hindus see the world as Leela, the divine play, the great theater. The self playing hide and seek with itself. Because you see, the ultimate reality is never serious. Sincere, yes, but not serious. It dances, it sings, it acts. It pretends. When you go to the theater, you know what happens on the stage is a show, but you let yourself be taken in. You let the actor move you to tears, to laughter, to fear. Yet, you know, deep down, it is play. And in the same way, this universe is the stage, and God is both actor and audience. The perfect illusion, completely convincing, precisely because you are it. This is why the Hindus use the word Maya. Not illusion in the sense of a mistake, but illusion as magic, as art, as creation. The grand trick of forgetting who you are in order to rediscover it over and over again. So the self, the Brahman, becomes every creature, every star, every wave. It moves through endless forms, exploring itself in infinite disguises. And it does this not to get anywhere, but simply for the joy of the dance, the music, the play of it all. That is Leela, the playful heartbeat of existence, the great cosmic drama, staged by the one who is all of us, wearing every possible mask, creating the greatest show there is, this living dream. And so the self, playing out its great drama, goes round and round on the wheel of samsara. The game of getting lost and found, of birth and death, of high and low. The Hindus divide it into 6 worlds: the Deva, the shining gods, basking in delight; the Naraka, the hellish worlds of suffering; the Asuras, angry angels caught in conflict; the world of animals moving in instinct; the Preta, the hungry ghosts with vast cravings and tiny mouths; and the human world, poised between reason and passion. Round and round it goes, the same wheel, the same play, with the self putting on mask after mask. High up, down low, again and again, never quite satisfied, never quite finished. Because if you succeed, you must fail. If you rise, you must fall. So liberation, moksha, means to wake up from the wheel altogether. To see that it is a dream, a wonderful dream, yes, but a dream nonetheless. For in time everything decays. Civilizations, bodies, ideas, all of it crumbles. And this is no reason to despair, but rather to laugh, to see that the transience of things is their dance, their freedom, their liveliness. The wheel is only a prison if you cling to it. If you see through it, it becomes the most magnificent game there is. So the sages say, wake up, watch the show, but do not be trapped by it. Play your part, but remember who you really are. And so, beyond all these cycles, beyond all these worlds, lies the freedom of knowing you are the one who dreamed them. This world is always slipping away, melting like smoke, like morning mist in the sun. Everything falls apart. Bodies, empires, dreams, all dissolving. And this you might think is a gloomy view, but it is not. It is the very essence of life's poetry. For poets have always sung most beautifully about what fades. Our revels now are ended, said Shakespeare, and these our actors are melted into air, into thin air. And so this whole world, the cloud-capped towers, the palaces, the solemn temples, all shall dissolve, leave not a wreck behind. We are such stuff as dreams are made of, and our little life, rounded with a sleep. When you see this clearly, you do not resist it, you do not cling. The Hindu proverb puts it, life is a bridge, pass over it, but build no house upon it. So you laugh, you play, you dance upon this fleeting stage, knowing its very transience gives it its sweetness. Even the skull grinning in the grass is laughing everlastingly. For death is but a mask, another act, a jest of the king who hides behind all things. And the wise see through it, and they laugh too. So do not try to nail the world down, do not try to pin the waves in place. Let them flow, let them vanish, let them rise again. For the beauty of all things is in their coming and going, and he who sees this dances lightly through life, free, unafraid, delighted with the show. So then the Hindu laughs because he sees through it. He sees that this whole world is a dance, a play, a marvelous illusion, and he does not take it with deadly seriousness. He knows that all forms shift and vanish, that everything is in motion, and so he does not try to grip it tight. He lets it move, lets it flow, and laughs at its splendid trickery. For the Hindu knows that every creature, every moment, every face is the mask of the beloved, the self, hiding behind its own creation. And so when the Guru looks into your eyes with that strange expression, it is not because he sees your little sins or petty secrets. He sees straight through to the divine inside you, and he wonders why you keep pretending. Come off it, he smiles. I know who you are. That is why the greeting is made with joined hands, a gesture of worship, for one sees the Godhead in the other, however well it hides. And this is not a grim worship of a tyrant deity, but a recognition of the playful, dancing, many-armed, one who never needs to think how to move, any more than you need to think how to grow your hair. So the Hindu laughs, knowing the world will change, collapse, be reborn, again and again, and through it all the self abides, untouched. In that vision there is no fear, no clinging, only delight in the divine masquerade. And so he smiles and bows and plays along. And so liberation moksha is simply waking up. It is seeing through the grand illusion, the divine play, and remembering who you really are, that you are the self, playing this tremendous game of hide and seek with itself, wandering through worlds, through pleasures and pains, through births and deaths, for the sheer wonder of it. To awaken is not to reject the game, but to see it for what it is. To go on dancing, but no longer fooled. To delight in all its colors, its tragedies and comedies, yet know in your heart it is your own theater, your own music. The wheel spins on, the forms rise and vanish, and the show goes on, but you are free of its grip because you see through it. You no longer clutch at shadows or tremble before change. You laugh, as the sage laughs, because you recognize the dance and you know the dancer. This is moksha. Not escaping from life, but no longer being trapped by it. Not destroying desire, but no longer being its slave. To walk through the world as a player, a lover of the play, bowing to all forms as sacred, because they are your own masks. And so the wise do not build their house upon the bridge. They cross joyfully, lightly, trusting the river that carries them on, for they know there is no place the self is not. And in that freedom, they discover the endless delight of the one who plays at being many forever. You see, behind every face you've worn, behind every story you've told yourself, there's always been the same presence. The same actor slipping in and out of masks, weeping at its own tragedies, delighting in its own illusions. It's a marvelous trick, really. To forget so utterly, to suffer so convincingly. Only to wake up one morning and find that the suffering was part of the laughter, not separate from it. And here you are, dreaming this dream of being you, of being someone in particular, caught between opposites, chasing meaning, avoiding loss, hoping it all adds up to something. But it's all quite all right. Because you see, if the whole thing were obvious, if the self remembered itself too soon, well, where's the fun in that? So you wander, you get wonderfully confused, you fall in love, you forget, you suffer, you laugh, And somewhere in the middle of it all, you might catch a glimpse that you were never outside of it. Not once. That this has all been a sort of divine hide and seek, in which the one became many only to enjoy the game of coming home. But there's no rush. The play goes on as it must, and when the curtain falls, it will rise again. Another scene, another mask. Still you, always you. But for now, carry on. Do your dance. Just don't take it too seriously. After all, it's only a dream.